What's up, graphic designers? In today's class, we're going to learn a few new tools, including the radial gradient and, most importantly, the object selection tool to recreate this poster featuring you and a few buddies. So the first thing I'm going to draw your attention to is the gradient. So that's probably going to be the easiest technique that we're going to execute today. I'm going to click on the gradient, and we know that we've got lots of options to choose from. We've got blues, reds, oranges, so many options. I'm going to click on this yellow to orange gradient, and you're going to notice that previously we've been using this linear gradient, right? So you simply click and drag, and depending on how far you drag will influence how smooth that transition is. I'm going to press delete. And what I'm going to do now is instead of this first option, which is a linear gradient, I'm going to click the second, the radial. And this is probably the gradient that you're going to want to use today to achieve this kind of effect. I don't love this color, so I'm simply going to press delete. And I'm going to choose something a little bit more subtle. It's this second option in the oranges folder. I'm going to click and drag. And that looks great. I like that right there. If we wanted to make it even a little bit more subtle, I'd press V for the move tool and then press 8 for 80% opacity. Maybe 90% opacity looks pretty good. All right. So here is what I know. In our inspiration, we've got a lineup of 6 individuals. And previously, we've used the magnetic lasso as I'm using right here, which we'll recall you simply click and drag and you go around. And you guys know that this is kind of a tedious process. I'm going to press Command C. And I'm going to press Command V, and this is not the best selection. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to use a new selection tool, and we'll use it on right. I'm going to press Command D. I'm going to press Command 0 to zoom out so that it fills the screen. And underneath the magnetic lasso, we've got maybe our magic wand tool, but if we right click and we select the object selection tool, we've got a few options. So under mode, we've got rectangle and lasso. And so if we just use the rectangle, what we can do is we can click and drag and making a selection over our subject like so. And when we release, Photoshop does its magic, and boom, we've got a great selection of Ryan. I'm going to press Command C, and then I'm going to go to our blank, Command V, and wow, that looks really good. I'm going to press Command T. I'm going to decrease the size just a tad, and that looks amazing right there. So let's do that again. In addition to the rectangular mode, we've got the lasso, which will also come in handy. And so I'm just going to go around the perimeter of Jack, and we're going to wait a second. And yet again, we've got this nice selection, Command C, Command V, and you can see it does not a bad job with the hair as well. I'm going to press Command T to reduce the size. We've got a few people, and we'll add one more person. And check this out, guys. In addition to the rectangle and the lasso mode, what we can also do is when we select the object selection tool, what we can do is actually just click on the individuals. So Julia lights up, and I'm going to left click once. Yeah, that's it. We got the selection, Command C, Command V. So easy. This looks really, really good. And what I know is that it looks like maybe we want to clean up elements at the top, and that's cool too. So there's a few different ways we can do it. I'm going to press E for eraser, and I'm going to have the hardness at about, let's say, around 70%, and we can just go like so, and that looks tremendous. Command 0, and great, we have her here. And I'm going to bring these guys down just a tad, and I'm going to draw your attention now to our inspiration. We've got this cool 3D sort of like gold text effect. What we're going to do right now is we're going to open up this sort of, I'm not even really quite sure how to describe it. We'll call it Gold Effects PSD layer. And so what we can do is we can manipulate this rings layer. So I'm going to draw your attention to the layers palette. You see this red lit up layer right here. So I'm going to hide it, and I'm going to reveal it. And that's the layer that we're going to be working with and we're going to be influencing. So I'm going to actually double click rings. And so check this out, guys. If we can simply hide that layer. That's, I think, the easiest route that we want to take. We're going to create a new layer. And you know what I'm going to do? We can do a few things. I'm going to increase the hardness back up to 100%. And I'm going to left click once. We're going to left click once. And there's something going, oh, there we go. Left click, and this looks great. And so what I know is I'm going to press Command S to save. And what it's doing is it's saving on this rectangle 2 tab, right? And when we go back to our original Gold Effects PSD layer, you're going to see that influence right here. Wow, that looks amazing. I'm going to press Command Z to undo. We're going to return here, and I'm going to actually hide this layer. And what I'm going to do right now is actually I'm going to close this new tab out. I'm not going to save. And I'm going to, once again, I'm going to double click on the thumbnail of this rings layer where it says your text here. I'm going to double click on that layer. I'm going to hide the layer. We're going to create a new layer. And it doesn't really matter what the color is. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write lab, LAB, and I'm going to use lemon milk, which I love. And we're going to do lemon milk bold. I'm going to press Command T. And again, it doesn't matter the color of the font. And then down here, I'm going to write, what are we writing? What do we do in our class? We work hard. Sure. Okay. I'm going to press check to confirm, Command S. And then we're going to go back to original Gold Effects tab right now. And wouldn't you know, there it is. That looks amazing. That looks really, really cool. So here's what's going to happen now. I'm actually going to hide the background layer. We're going to hide the 3D effects and no, we're going to leave the 3D effects and shadow layer. We're going to hide the background layer itself. And I'm going to hide these other layers. Okay, so everything but the red layer where it says your text here and the layer beneath it. I'm going to press Command A, Command Shift C. We're going to go to our original layer. I'm going to zoom out just a tad. Command V. What? This looks crazy. I'm going to press Command T. I'm going to rotate it just a tab. And that looks incredible. You guys are going to think about what other elements from this original image, our inspiration, do we want to include in here. I cannot wait to see your work. You're going to include at least 6 or 7 buddies. We're going to be creative. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.